Hello, welcome to another session of our webinar series on how to outsource in Scrum. My name is Paweł Feliński, and today I'm going to talk about what do you pay for in Scrum. For those who don't know me yet, I'm based in Poland, the capital of Poland, Warsaw. I'm a certified professional Scrum expert, working for various software houses and bigger corporations as well. This time I'm going to present a topic which is pre-last one in our series of webinars. A couple of weeks ago already, Xsolve software house, also located in Poland, has released How to Outsource Scrum Projects ebook. This series of webinars is a follow-up. We're going to go deeper into a couple of topics that we brought up in the book. This is our fourth meeting. I started with a session on benefits of outsourcing in Scrum in the beginning of June. Then contracts in Scrum, so a bit of legal stuff, how to prepare contracts, what should be there or what should not be there in contracts in order to support agile approach to software development. Last time we talked about product ownership, not necessarily the product owner role as described in the Scrum Guide, but something broader. What is about product ownership? So how to get what you need. This time I'm going to talk about what do you pay for in Scrum. All right. So I met a number of people that said projects in Scrum or in general projects developed in Agile software development philosophy are more expensive than any other projects. The product is, I don't know whether better or worse, hard to say. However, the price definitely is higher. I would like to go back, take a step back from software development to something more common for everybody, a car. Whenever you buy a new car, before you pay, before you sign the contract, you do a couple of things. First of all, I bet everybody does it. You look at the car. So you approach the car, you look at the color, definitely. You look at everything outside the car to validate what's the state of the vehicle. Whether everything is fine, maybe something is broken, maybe there's something broken that you know about because that was a part of the offering at the beginning, but maybe you'll find out something more. You look also inside the car to see whether the steering wheel is in place and every device as described earlier by a person that you meet. In software development, we actually have a similar way also in Scrum. What how I name it is ability to change the plan. So if you go to a shop to buy a car, you look at various cars. Perhaps you have an idea at the beginning about the type of car, maybe even a particular model of the car. But once it's there developed, you look inside and see whether this is the relevant standard of devices inside. The same for the software. And in Scrum, we have a couple of places, a couple of ways of that support this approach. First of all, the software, live working software is demonstrated regularly. Every iteration, every sprint that is 1, 2, 3 or 4 weeks long, that is finished with a software demonstration. You actually see the software working. You can look at it, you can touch it, you can ask questions why it works like that, why it doesn't work like that. Software development in these short cycles called sprints in Scrum is a great opportunity, gives you a great opportunity to respond to change. By change, I mean any kind of change. Maybe while looking at the software, you realize, well, I'd like to have something different than I thought originally. That might be, by the way, quite difficult with a car. Maybe the business situation has changed. In a month, 2, maybe 3 months long time period, something might have happened. Maybe your competitors did something different and would like to have it also in your software. By having these short cycles, you enable the change. The tool for the change is the product backlog, and we spent a significant part of time last time during the previous webinar talking about the product ownership concept, when I described how product owner, and based on which particular inputs she makes the reordering, makes the prioritization, tries to estimate business value behind each item in the backlog. So there's a tool. There's an artifact called the product backlog, there's a role called the product owner, and the entire Agile software development philosophy that enables you to change the plan during the project. In the same way or similar way to what you can have with a car, if it's not a car that is already made, but it's under constructions, and you already look at it while it's constructed, and you can decide from time to time about particular features of the car, like for instance color or devices installed inside. But when you look at the car outside and inside, then for sure you're going to open it. Okay, you're going to open it, and by opening I don't mean necessarily door, but opening every part that you would like to see inside. So you're looking at the engine first of all. I think everybody does it. You look at the state of the engine. Maybe you touch the oil tank. Maybe you're open any other parts. Somebody goes down to see how does the car look from the bottom. This is similar to what we have in Scrum that I called a quality check. And here's the deal. Quality is what we are talking about in software development, no matter whether it's about waterfall or old-fashioned projects or agile projects, for instance, in Scrum. However, the approach to quality, technical quality especially, of the software is a bit different if you use the agile software development approach. First of all, we have a so-called definition of done. If I deliver my software in short cycles, and the cycles are called sprints in Scrum, I would like each piece of software that is delivered in the cycle to be done. Before we start a project, we have to sign a definition of done that gives the team idea what done means in this particular case. If you don't want your car to be painted, it won't be there in definition of done, but it means none of the pieces of the car will be painted at the end. So it's either or for you. Second of all, and here we're going to more into details, it's the general idea of agile testing, or so-called test-first approach. It's hard to test, or maybe it's hard to imagine how we can test something before it's created, before it's produced. However, if we're going from domain of cars to domain of software, which is soft, not hard by definition, it is possible to do it. Test first means think about testing, think about quality, at least or sooner, or at least in the moment when you start creating a piece of software. Going into technical details about different frameworks, different approaches of how we can do it. TDD, test-driven development, is a practice, agile practice used by programmers on the level of unit tests. So lines of code, methods in the code that we are going to first test using a unit test, depending on language for different frameworks, and then create the method. It gives you quite clean code and forces a programmer to think about the code structure, not while implementing, but step before implementing this particular part of it. ATDD, acceptance test development, that's a practice for a pair of a programmer and a tester, QA engineer that are to think about a test on the acceptance levels, maybe functional level of testing, before particular use case or user story, simply part of functionality is coded, is created. So it's not that I'm taking feature description and implementing it. No. I sit down with a customer or sit down with QA engineer, and we're thinking, how are we going to test it? How user is going to use it? And when we think of possible scenarios, possible edge cases, then we start programming and in parallel testing. By testing, I don't mean maybe testing activities, but for instance, preparing test scenarios, either automated or manual, depending on that. Behavior-driven development. It's a general system, somehow embedding both TDD, ATDD, test-first approach all together. It also brings up the idea of writing tests, automated tests mainly, in human language, using frameworks that enable it. For instance, JBehavior or Behat, depending on the language. Test first approach are also other ideas, other technical practices related to code integration, to building software. CI stands for continuous integration, CD for continuous deployment or continuous delivery even, which means that the team that you're paying for is not only creating software for you, but thinking about quality on every level, unit level, functional level, even system performance level, non-stop in every sprint, in every cycle, and they assure that as much automation is there as possible. Automation is a key and essential. I will not agree with many of you thinking that investing in automation is a waste of money, even if your project is short. So we made an agreement that we will deliver the software for you in 2-3 months. Very rarely happens that even such a tiny product won't be developed later. I bet you're going to come to us in a year, maybe 2, maybe 3 years even, and you're going to ask us to change something or to implement some extra features. Maybe it will be a different team doing this implementation. That means that if they touch code that was not touched for weeks or months, they may break something. Automated tests on different level assures or maybe not assures, it gives a higher probability of being sure that that this is not the case. That breaking software won't be the case. Definition of done should be met by all requirements by our parts of software that we are developing in every sprint, which means while the software is delivered at the end of the sprint, it's fully tested. That's our vision. That's where we want to be. Going further, coming back to my car. We looked at it, we opened it. Definitely, we need to take a ride. You sit down and you drive a car. I can't imagine a situation where you're buying a car and you're not trying it out. You have to go spend a couple of miles or kilometers, depending on the country when you are, and try it out, whether it works fine, whether it. You listen to the car, you would like to see how it behaves. Same with software. Ability to use the product earlier. That's the third thing that you're paying for in Scrum, especially in comparison to old-fashioned way of developing software. As I mentioned, definition of done defines what done means at the end of sprint. If a feature, if an item of the product backlog is done according to this definition, it creates an increment of the software that we're delivering at the end of sprint. The former name for the increment was potentially shippable product or potentially releasable product. So a piece of software, a piece of target product that actually you can use. And if the agreement between you and me is so, you can actually use it for sure, not in a demonstration environment, but I can give it to you and you can use it. Perhaps it would be wise if you use it not after the first or second sprint, but after every 4 sprints, for instance, so that you have more and more features to use. However, it's doable. So even if we develop a tiny part of what you ask us for, you can give it to your people and they will click it. That gives you very early feedback about the behavior of the software in a similar way as running a car. You sit down, drive it. Same in here. Even in the middle of the project, even after first couple of weeks, you will get information easily whether this is what you wanted or not. Perhaps we misunderstood you. Perhaps we did not misunderstand you. However, the intentions of you while asking us for software were incorrect comparing to your users, your customers. Every information about it that you and I receive early enough is better than at the end of the project when everything is ready. That reminds me another thing related to what we discussed a week ago. Key functionalities first. I mentioned already the product backlog as an artifact in Scrum and a tool for one of tools for maximizing business value. We would like to implement key functionality, key use cases, key user stories, no matter how we're going to name them first. So if you have a couple of features that differentiate your product from the product of your competitors, let's start with them. Let's see. Let's maybe even release them to the market or some control group from the market. Let's see whether this is fine. This is the way how startups work. They create something really tiny, something really small, but having idea of key functionalities built in, and we go with it to the market and see whether it's fine or not. Great products might not fit particular market, which means you will not sell them. Nobody is going to use them. Let's learn about it earlier, not at the end of the project where the entire product is developed. So, what do you pay for in a Scrum? First of all, ability to change the plan. As mentioned in one of the agile values from the Agile Manifesto. Then a full focus on quality. From the very beginning of first sprint till the end of the last sprint, we focus on quality on different levels, thinking how to close the entire test cycle within 1, 2, 3, or 4 weeks. Finally, ability to use the product earlier. If it's released, if it's potentially releasable, if the quality is there, why can't we use it? You can use it every time we release or we are asked to release our increment at the end of the sprint. And all of these aspects bring us to the key part of Scrum, which is maximize value. If I let you change the plan so that what we are implementing is of the highest value for you and your users, we're maximizing the value. If we are focused on quality every time in each sprint, in each iteration, we're maximizing value. And finally, if we give you a chance to use the product at the end of the sprint, we are giving you a chance to change your mind, replan the software, add some features, remove them, or change the order. That all brings us to maximized value. On purpose, I made here a clear division between you and me. You, the customer, me, a representative of a team developing the software. That's because cooperation between these two parts is necessary. However, and I'm coming back to the key, in my opinion, webinar that we had 2 weeks ago. The key part, the key role in Scrum is the product owner. That's the person that actually benefits from these 3 aspects of Scrum. First of all, second of all, that's the person that makes decisions, that either brings us to maximize value, or, well, not necessarily gives us away. In 2 weeks, I'm going to talk then about Scrum from the customer's perspective. I'm talking about product owner during last webinar and during this session. However, majority of responsibilities, or some of our responsibilities, depending on the project actually, about maximizing value is in the hands of customer. During next session, I'm going to show you how a customer should participate in the project so that it's ended with a great success, with the highest value delivered first. And as fast as possible, I'm going to show you a couple of different scenarios that we can see in various Scrum or in general Agile projects, and how the role of customer fits in. I already told you during the first session the benefits of outsourcing Scrum, that the outsourcing software development to Scrum is a sort of investment, when mainly it's investment of your time. So some attention from the customer's side is needed, and that's the 5th and last session of our webinar series. Thank you very much, and if you have any questions, please write them on chat right now, or let me know using your microphone. We can also continue discussion later in social media of Excelf. I would like to invite you to it. All right, thank you, and hopefully hear you in 2 weeks. Goodbye.